Oregon's police officers and chiefs. Ted Kulangoski, the experience to get things done, the common sense to do them right.
How many reasons do you need to get into a Chrysler car or minivan? How about zero? Because now, for a limited time, you can get 0% financing for 60 months on most 2002 Chrysler vehicles, which could save you up to $6,700, depending on model. Plus, to make this great offer even better, it's backed by the peace of mind of our 770 Powertrain Limited Warranty. So get to your Chrysler dealer today, because with 0% financing and our 770 Limited Warranty, there's no reason not to.
New at 6, ports all along the West Coast lock out workers. We'll tell you why and how it affects longshoremen here in Portland coming up at 6. Also continuing coverage of the critical mass protest that's set to begin just minutes from right now.
Instead of a ribbon cutting, the new Hilton Portland Executive Tower will stage a grand opening dance Saturday night. Today, during the lunch hour, members of Project Bandaloop practiced their routines for the event high above the ground. This is the angle from Sky 8. Now, from the ground, you can get a closer look at the dancers as they swoop and dive off the building. The first polished performance will be tomorrow night at 7:45 with an encore dance at 10. The new Hilton Portland Executive Tower is located at 545 Southwest Taylor.
Brave.
No thanks.
Yeah. Next on Nightly News, there are new indications tonight that if the U.S. attacks Iraq, Saddam Hussein's strategy will be different than it was during the Gulf War.
Plus, how technology is transforming life for the disabled.
We will see you back here tonight at 6. Right now, here's NBC Nightly News.
Stocks plunge. Almost 300 points on bad news from blue chip companies. New signs of an uncertain economic future. The gathering storm. President Bush and Congress closer to a resolution on Iraq, but key Democrats warned that war with Saddam should be a last resort. No limits. Remarkable new technology giving people of all ages a better quality of life by helping them do what they thought they could not. And gift of life. 2 families, one desperate, one grieving, brought together across a great divide by the gift of life for a little girl.
From NBC News World Headquarters in New York, this is NBC Nightly News with Tom Brokaw.
Good evening. All summer and into the fall, economists, business leaders, and investors have been looking for some good news in the American economy. The best they could find was that given all that's happened in the last year, it could be so much worse. But that's not good enough. Now the numbers are coming in, and they're pretty grim. The stock market took another steep dive today. The 2-day rally for the blue chips came to a crashing end. The Dow losing almost 296 points. NASDAQ was down 22.5 points on the day. For the week, then, all the major indexes were down. The Dow was off almost 285 points. That's more than 3.5% of its value. NASDAQ lost 22 points on the week, 1.8% of its value. NBC's Ann Thompson tonight on the tough news today and the difficult news yet to come. Ann?
Tom, this is the 5th consecutive down week for both the NASDAQ and the Dow. As one market strategist explained, the names change, but the story stays the same: bad earnings. Today's red flags on profits coming from some of America's best-known companies. Delta Airlines revealing it will lose almost twice as much money in the 3rd quarter as expected. Tobacco maker Philip Morris cutting its earnings expectations for the entire year. Adding to Wall Street's blues, downgrades on General Electric, the parent company of this network, because some of its steadiest performers like plastics have stalled. And the nation's #2 local phone carrier, SBC Communications, is cutting another 11,000 jobs. The American economy is just not doing the business that everyone expected.
I mean, it's virtually every sector has got serious problems.
For the 3rd quarter, negative warnings from companies about profits outweigh positive ones by more than a 2-to-1 margin. In July, there were predictions that earnings would grow by a robust 17%, now a disappointing 7%.
The stock market is a mirror reflection of what's happening in the economy. Right now, the economy is very sluggish. Corporate profits are down, and that's why stock prices are down.
And it's not just stock prices. Today's University of Michigan Consumer Sentiment Survey shows a worsening financial picture for 1/3 of U.S. households, the highest level in 10 years. And experts say the news won't improve when investors open their 401k statements next month.
it'll be another shock, and I think the individual investor is going to be questioning the wisdom of staying in equities.
Then there is the ever-present threat of war and the still lingering question of whether you can trust the numbers. Former Commerce Secretary Pete Peterson now leads a commission trying to restore integrity to corporate America.
People are now more uncertain about where to invest their money than at any time I can remember in a long time.
And today's $300 billion worth of losses certainly won't do much to bolster what little confidence investors still have. Tom?
Thanks very much, NBC's Ann Thompson tonight. In Washington, where Democrats thought the economy would be the big election issue, Iraq and what to do about Saddam Hussein again dominated the give and take. Now more big Democratic names are speaking out, and the president still doesn't have a United Nations on board. NBC's Campbell Brown is traveling with the president tonight.
The president with a gentler message today in the face of new opposition to war with Saddam.
I'm willing to give peace a chance to work. I want the United Nations to work. I want him to do what he said he would do.
Headlining 3 Republican campaign events, the president insisted his goal is to disarm Saddam and avoid war.
I do not accept the idea.
But increasingly, Democrats are finding their voice, arguing war is exactly where Bush is headed and is too focused on Iraq.
The change in priority is coming before we have fully eliminated the threat from al-Qaeda, before we know whether Osama bin Laden is dead or alive.
That view endorsed by former President Clinton, too, this morning.
I think the terrorists are our biggest security threat now, and I think they're the biggest and most powerful terrorist network.
And in Baghdad today, 3 Democratic lawmakers, all Vietnam War vets, pushed Iraqi officials to allow the inspectors back in.
We want this to be peaceably and diplomatically resolved.
Democrats also said today they were deeply troubled by this comment about Saddam made by the president at a fundraiser last night.
But there's no doubt his hatred is mainly directed at us. There's no doubt he can't stand us. After all, this is the guy that tried to kill my dad at one time.
That after White House officials have repeatedly insisted the president's campaign isn't personal. The United Nations, too, is pushing back. While Britain has signed on to a U.S.-sponsored resolution threatening a military attack, France announced it's teaming up with China in favor of 2 separate resolutions, one sending inspectors back in, then a second approving force to be debated later. The president is sending diplomats to France and Russia to make his case for the U.S. version. Tonight, diplomatic sources say it gives Iraq only 7 days to agree to all UN conditions for inspections or face military action. Campbell Brown, NBC News, with the president in Flagstaff, Arizona.
At the same time, there are new indications tonight that if the U.S. does attack Iraq, Saddam Hussein's strategy will be different than it was in the Gulf War. U.S. officials say this time he is preparing for urban warfare designed to put American troops at very high risk. Here's NBC's Pentagon correspondent Jim Miklashevsky with that story.
Like Desert Storm, the war would likely begin with U.S. airstrikes, but the battle could quickly explode onto the streets of Baghdad. U.S. Special Forces in nighttime commando raids, urban warfare, the bloodiest kind of street fighting. General Barry McCaffrey commanded the 24th Infantry in Desert Storm.
It's a mess. You know, it's chaotic. You're vulnerable to enormous numbers of casualties. You don't fight it the right way.
If Saddam Hussein tried to fight it out in the desert, Iraqi troops would be slaughtered by a new generation of deadly accurate precision-guided bombs.
He has seen what happened in Desert Storm. He has seen what has taken place in Kosovo and elsewhere. He understands that for him to fight out in the open would be a disaster for him.
Today, Saddam Hussein's son, Uday, all but dared American troops to bring the fight to Baghdad. That's where Saddam will likely hunker down, surrounded by his personal protection force, the Special Republican Guard.
There may be 15,000 of them that will fight to the death in downtown Baghdad, so this will be a stiff piece of combat if we have to take part in urban operations.
Baghdad's tightly packed buildings and 5 million civilians would give Iraqi forces plenty of cover and a serious advantage. So whenever possible, the U.S. would fight in the dark, using night vision capabilities, with air cover from AC-130 gunships and mobile artillery on the ground.
You want to blow down buildings where they resist with self-propelled 155 artillery firing at close range. You don't want to fight room to room.
Whatever the tactics, U.S. military officials acknowledge street fighting in Baghdad will result in large numbers of casualties, both innocent civilians and U.S. troops. That's why the military's first rule in urban combat is to do everything possible to avoid it. But if the U.S. hopes to oust Saddam Hussein, a battle in Baghdad may be inevitable. Jim Miklaszewski, NBC News, the Pentagon.
Another war weapon that would be employed in close combat is the Apache helicopter. According to the Pentagon, the new version, which is called the Longbow, is a vast improvement over the one used during the Gulf War. More on that tonight from NBC's Don Teague.
Fort Rucker, Alabama. Second Lieutenant Joseph Miner learning to fly the Army's newest, they're all lined up on top of each other, and most lethal helicopter.
And this aircraft has got enough computers and enough brains, I guess, that you can really focus on completing your mission.
The Longbow Apache is a major upgrade of the first-generation Apache, which was battle-proven in Iraq and is still at work in the mountains of Afghanistan. The $21 million Longbow, with advanced radar and communications equipment, is said to be 5 times more lethal than its predecessor.
When the millimeter wave radar system sweeps the battlefield, it detects, identifies, locates, and prioritizes up to 256 targets at once.
A single Longbow Apache can wreak havoc on the battlefield. From this seat, one pilot can destroy dozens of enemy targets. Things like radar installations, artillery pieces, and tanks. Pilots can choose between rockets, Hellfire missiles, and a 30-millimeter machine gun. A helicopter so high-tech, the Army has developed equally sophisticated simulators to help pilots practice over virtual terrain.
There's no way you can actually duplicate this in the actual aircraft without putting ourselves at risk or in danger.
The Army has now certified 6 Longbow battalions combat ready, the pilots and aircraft prepared for service in Iraq.
If you have got any thought at all of going in, particularly fighting in or around Baghdad, the Longbow gives you a capability that you literally have not had before, and you'd better use it and use it well.
We have a waiting list for people that would love to go.
David Culler flew combat missions during Operation Desert Storm. He says going back to Iraq in a Longbow would be
leaps and bounds above what we had in 1990 and 91.
A new weapon ready for a new war. Joseph Miner was just 12 years old when the first Apaches attacked Iraq. After a few more weeks at the controls of a Longbow, he too will be ready. Don Teague, NBC News, Fort Rucker, Alabama.
On another front, there's a surprising development concerning the West Nile virus. Scientists say they have found signs of the mosquito-borne disease in the breast milk of a new mother who has the virus. The Michigan woman's baby is healthy, and there is no evidence yet that West Nile virus actually can be transmitted by breastfeeding. Up next, NBC News in depth tonight. The government admits it accidentally gave sensitive information to alleged September 11th conspirator Zacarias Moussaoui. And later, the victim of a suicide bombing leaves a legacy of humanity, a second chance at life for a young Palestinian girl.
Obviously, the new Silverado is here. Silverado, the truck from Chevy.
I'm the bus lady. Some mornings I was so constipated I could hardly drive. Till I tried X-Lax Milk of Magnesia. Stimulant-free. Guaranteed relief by 8 a.m.
Good morning.
X-Lax Milk of Magnesia with the X-Lax Good Morning Guarantee.
If you have diabetes, you've probably handled thousands of test strips. But no more, thanks to the AccuCheck Compact Meter. Just drop in a drum containing 17 test strips. Press the button and you're ready. 17 consecutive tests and no handling strips. What could be clearer? The AccuCheck Compact Meter. Look for the one with the drum.
Body pain? Back pain? Introducing new Bare Back and Body. It's Bare Aspirin plus a special pain relief enhancer to relieve sore backs and soothe aching muscles fast. New Bare Back and Body. Get moving again pain-free.
Here's medical news from Centrum. Now you may be able to do more to help lower your risk of heart disease and cancer. Start taking Centrum today. A recent report in the Journal of the American Medical Association now recommends that all adults take one multivitamin daily and has recognized the link between vitamins and the reduced risk of chronic diseases. Doing more today can help affect your health in the future. Start taking Centrum, the brand doctors recommend most. Centrum and Centrum Silver, always complete from A to Zinc.
On the premiere of Dateline Friday, it was a story that made headlines. Mary Kay Letourneau was a teacher, her lover a young student. Together they had 2 children, but she's in prison and his life has changed forever. Now, wait till you hear the latest.
She said she would strip for every answer I got right.
A 2-hour Dateline Court TV exclusive, tonight, 8/7 Central on NBC.
Donahue is on a tear on America's News Channel. I say on my own time, God bless America. Weeknights at 8 on America's News Channel, MSNBC.
NBC News in Depth tonight, telling secrets. The Justice Department is scrambling to find out how 4 dozen documents containing sensitive information were mistakenly given to Zacarias Moussaoui in custody on conspiracy charges. The man prosecutors say was meant to be the 20th hijacker on September 11th. In depth now with this story, here's NBC's Pete Williams.
When Zacarias Moussaoui won the right to act as his own lawyer, the government had a stern warning. He would not be entitled to see any classified documents in preparing his defense. But as he sits in jail awaiting trial, it turns out he has been given some official secrets, and it was the government that handed them over. In court papers just made public, prosecutors disclosed that they inadvertently gave Moussaoui 48 documents containing sensitive material that should have been marked classified but were not. After learning about the mistake, the judge said national security could be compromised if Moussaoui was allowed to keep them and ordered U.S. Marshals to enter his jail cell and get them back. The Justice Department says they've now all been retrieved. And justice officials say it appears Moussaoui never got around to looking at them as he tried to read through the thousands of pages of documents already turned over. Even so, a former federal prosecutor who has worked with classified intelligence before, prosecuting CIA spy Aldrich Ames, says the foul-up demonstrates that something is wrong with the way the government handles its secrets.
It affects the judge's view of their competence, of how well they can protect national security. And that's not a good thing. It's the wrong foot to get off on in a major prosecution.
But with Moussaoui under such tight restrictions, a former FBI counter-terror investigator says it's likely no damage was done.
The significance of the information might have been known to him, and it may have been on a CD or some other media which he might have not have had a chance to look at. So we also believe that he hasn't been able to communicate outside of his jail cell.
Several lawyers involved in the case agree Moussaoui probably never saw any of the secrets. The government has produced such a blizzard of pretrial documents that the defense has brought in 75 experts just to try to read through them all before the trial starts in January. Pete Williams, NBC News, Washington.
Up next, from music to medicine, how computers are helping millions of Americans do things they never thought they could.
In the 90 years LL Bean has sold outdoor clothing and gear, competitors have come and gone. Many have tried, but none have matched our dedication to quality and service. As others fold or merge, LL Bean remains family-owned and true to doing things right. Today, our commitment to quality products, service, and our guarantee assures you'll always be 100% satisfied. You have our word on it. Call today for our free catalog.
Ready for a ghost story? Once upon a time, I designed the cars that defined an entire era of American style. And like all good ghost stories, this one has a sequel. My name's Harley Earl, and I've come back to build you a great car.
Somebody in here?
It's showtime.
Feel it, the spirit of American style.
We're home.
Hey, what should we do for dinner?
I'll whip up one of my favorite recipes.
Recipes? You don't have any recipes.
I have a whole box of them.
New family-style recipes from Stouffer's. Recipes your family loves. Served family style.
How about chicken cordon bleu pasta with white meat chicken, tender ham, and peas in a Parmesan Swiss cheese sauce?
Somebody's been watching too many cooking shows. New family-style recipes from Stouffer's. Recipes for a relaxing dinner. You may have a future here.
Stouffer's, I think I'm closer to home.
There is a rhythm to life. We sleep at night and wake in the morning.
It's this sleep cycle that helps keep us in a healthy balance. But for millions of Americans, sleep doesn't always come easy. Fortunately, there's Ambien. Ambien is a prescription sleep aid that can help you get a full night's sleep. While natural sleep is best, Ambien helps you fall asleep fast, stay asleep longer, and wake rested and refreshed, not groggy the next morning. No wonder Ambien is the #1 prescribed sleep aid in America. Until you know how Ambien will affect you, you shouldn't drive or operate machinery. Side effects may include drowsiness, dizziness, and diarrhea. You shouldn't take it with alcohol. Patients who abuse prescription sleep aids may become dependent. Prescription sleep aids are most often taken for 7 to 10 days as needed. Your doctor will advise you about taking them longer. Take Ambien only when you can devote a full 7 to 8 hours to sleep and wake rested and ready to start your day. Talk to your doctor about Ambien. Ambien works like a dream.
They say money can't buy happiness, but wouldn't you like to try? Joining the Idle Rich could be cheaper than you think. Take our wealth test and find out how next week only on Today.
Seniors working and loving it. NBC Nightly News Monday.
NBC News has learned top Wall Street investment banks and the SEC are close to a group settlement which would end separate investigations into whether Citibank, Goldman Sachs, and others misled investors by pushing stocks in companies that gave the firms their banking business. The settlement will call for fines of hundreds of millions of dollars and an industry-wide agreement to separate investment banking and stock analysts. But it would not insulate the firms from potential criminal charges. Also in Washington today, demonstrators took to the streets to protest capitalism and globalization as finance leaders from the world's richest nations gathered for meetings. Police say they arrested several hundred people. The protest groups plan even bigger demonstrations tomorrow, the formal opening of meetings of the International Monetary Fund and the World Bank. On The Family tonight, a fascinating story about how the technology revolution is transforming lives for disabled Americans in ways many had never dreamed possible. 1 in 5 Americans will at some point in their lives be disabled in some fashion, but thanks to what is called assistive technology, many are now able to live more independent lives. Here's NBC's George Lewis.
Use the highlighted words in the paragraph to fill in the blanks.
13-year-old Isaac Ross demonstrating software to a group of grown-ups. A whiz kid? That's not what Isaac's teachers told his parents when he entered grade school.
They told us that Isaac really didn't belong in school. Don't expect him to learn to read, write, go to high school or college.
Isaac has severe dyslexia, a reading disability. 3 years ago, his mother found a computer program that turns written text into speech and helps people like Isaac decipher the words.
In the election of 1828.
As soon as you see the word highlighted and you hear the word spoken out loud, it creates a connection in the brain and allows you to recognize that word later.
And it made a huge difference at school.
It brought me, at the end of 5th grade, from not reading to reading fluently, and to the top, from the bottom of 3 classes to the top of 3 classes the next year.
Now, Isaac shows off the program at conferences like this one on technology and disabilities. The computer revolution has given rise to a whole new family of devices designed to help people with disabilities, including devices that help them learn and communicate better.
Take button capsule 3 times daily.
Some pharmacies can now put a microchip in pill bottles, letting the visually impaired hear what the label says. The reflective dot that Devin Ferguson is wearing enables an optical sensor to track his head movements so he can play computer games or send email. There are computers that read sheet music so blind musicians can hear the notes and then get a printout of the composition in Braille. And while no one is suggesting computers are about to replace the familiar guide dogs, there's a talking GPS guidance system that helps blind people navigate city streets. The question now, who's going to help people navigate this maze of new devices? Harry Reiser directs the Center for Technology and People with Disabilities and foresees job openings for a new breed of technology advisors.
My goal is that there are more professionals who know how to use it and to identify the most appropriate technology for the right people.
Maybe Isaac Ross will be one of the future professionals. George Lewis, NBC News, Los Angeles.
I'll be right back with a story that proves even enemies can unite as one family.
The Family is brought to you in part by Aflac. Ask about it at work.
Next time you're on the road and you need to fill your tank, here's something to consider. New Shell gasoline is specially formulated to help prevent deposit buildup in your engine, which helps keep it clean. And a clean engine performs better, which is why when they're looking for more from their gasoline, so many drivers choose Shell.
Take care of your future now with new Bayer Women's Aspirin Plus Calcium. Calcium for your bones, aspirin for your heart. Heart disease is the #1 killer of women. Be sure to talk to your doctor before you begin an aspirin regimen and ask about new Bayer Women's.
Now relax and feel beautiful.
Where will you be when your diarrhea comes back? You should have taken Imodium the first time. It stops diarrhea, often in just one dose. Imodium AD. Don't wait till it's too late.
Gotta go right now. Gotta go. Gotta go right now. Gotta go.
If you've always got to go, ask your doctor about Detrol LA. It's been proven effective for overactive bladder.
Anyone need a break?
Not right now.
You shouldn't take it if you have stomach, urinary, or glaucoma problems. The most common side effects are dry mouth, constipation, abdominal pain, and headache.
And I don't have to go right now.
Detrol LA, when you've always got to go.
For the scorching pain of heartburn from acid reflux, get the difference of Gaviscon. It quickly forms a soothing protective barrier that helps keep acid down for hours. Feel the soothing power of Gaviscon.
You're on a plane. The guy next to you paid $1,200 for his seat. You paid $99. That's how you're gonna feel. GM announces 0% financing for 5 years for qualified buyers on every remaining 2002 car and truck. Every division, no exceptions. Now to the end of the month. Go get your car.
Hi, I'm Joe Smith. Bring an appetite to the Power Breakfast at the Downtown Hilton October 3rd for a gubernatorial debate between candidates Kevin Mannix, Ted Kulingowski, and Tom Cox. To register, call 503-219-3450.
Be part of what makes America great. Register, vote, make history. Tonight we have one of those stories that demonstrate the essential goodness of the human spirit in the midst of the madness of mankind. It is a story of Jew and Arab in the Middle East, a story of death and renewed life. Here's NBC Jim Asada.
Little Yasemin, a 7-year-old Palestinian, remains in intensive care but is probably out of danger a week after receiving a kidney transplant.
If she will be lucky, then she can live a normal, healthy life.
Her mother, Dina, says it's a miracle and wants to thank the donor's family for this gift of life. As much as we are happy, she says, we are also sad about what happened to the young man. The young man, 19-year-old Yoni Jesner, a Jew from Scotland who loved Israel, studied here, and wanted to be a doctor. Yoni was on bus number 4 in Tel Aviv last Thursday when a suicide bomber blew himself up, killing 6 passengers. After Yoni died from his head wounds, his family chose to donate his organs, regardless of race or creed, Jew or Arab. Yasemin got Yoni's kidney.
In this particular instance, it was an Arab girl, and we're just delighted that we've been able to help someone else.
Gideon, Yoni's cousin, was also on the bus. His throat punctured by shrapnel, but he miraculously survived. The irony of a Jewish victim of terror saving an Arab life not lost on him.
It sends a message, a very important message, that despite how inhumane and evil it was, there's always, some glimmer of something good that can come out of everything.
But the gesture not without controversy. Many Jews opposed to organ transplants, saying it breaks Jewish law. Others just unable to see beyond the bloody 2-year conflict that has killed over 2,000 Arabs and Jews, even if it means making a sick child well. Two families, two religions on opposite sides of a decades-old conflict. Both families admit that before, they would never have had the occasion or desire to meet. Now, quite literally, they are linked. A Palestinian girl with a new lease on life from a young Jewish man whose dream of healing others came true in death. Jim Masadam, NBC News, Jerusalem.
That's Nightly News for this Friday night. Don't forget Dateline tonight at 8, 7 Central. I'm Tom Brokaw. I'll see you back here Monday night.
Nightly News is a presentation of NBC News. More Americans watch NBC News than any other news organization in the world.
Protesters put the pedals to the pavement. Bikers ride through downtown to take a stand against cars. Plus, no work for longshoremen along the West Coast. Tonight, they are locked out from their jobs. And we're live in California, where the Beavers hope to pick up their first win in 42 years against the USC Trojans. All just ahead.
From KGW, where the news comes first. This is Northwest News Channel 8 at 6.
Good evening, I'm Joe Donlin.
And I'm Tracy Berry. Thank you for being with us tonight. Our top story, police are staked out in downtown Portland. They're preparing for a possible clash with hundreds of bicyclists. Live from Sky 8, the critical mass protest has just begun, an event that ended ugly with arrests and chaos last month. We have News Channel 8 team coverage tonight. Randy Neves with the history behind critical mass. But we begin tonight with News Channel 8 CW Jensen live on the ground where the protest is getting ready to go. CW?
I'll tell you, it's a very loud group here. Since our 5 o'clock report, it's more than tripled the amount of people that are around here. As you can see, the bikes are starting.
Has made a contribution to the OPB program Fund for Excellence. Additional funding has been provided by you, the contributing members of OPB.
As scientists, if we could build a reactor, we could build bombs. They had the knowledge.
My wife, my children.
As men, they had a choice.
My dear good Heisenberg, we weren't supplying the bomb to Hitler.
Stephen Ray, Daniel Craig, Copenhagen.
Here on OPB, Sunday night at 9.
History made them famous. Ken Burns makes them real. PBS presents a new series about the people who shaped our nation. Ken Burns, American Stories.
You look up and you say, my God. And you feel much more than just being an American. You feel the importance of being human.
The Statue of Liberty.
Here on OPB, Monday night at 9.